Are you ready to start gardening? Do you have your seeds yet? Well, we do. Come and check it out. Okay, so I have something very exciting to share with you. So a few weeks ago, I had placed a seed order with this company, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. They were recommended me by a neighbor who uses them. And I like that they are somewhat regional to my area. I like that with seeds, using seeds that are adapted to the local climate, as opposed to just buying them across country to places that have totally different growing conditions. I know they work too, but this is my personal preference. And these specialize in seed. It's a seed exchange, so seed saving. So there's tons of tips here on how to preserve the genetics, how to preserve the seeds, so that you don't have to continue buying them every year. So I did make a considerable investment in buying a number of these seeds this year, but my plan was to save them so we can use them in future years. So I will get to opening this piece of mail here now. Okay, now the part that I have been waiting for. Look at this pack, how much seeds are here. Some came out. Actually, on second thought, this catalog that they have here is too precious not to share. First of all, how adorable is that image? Kind of gives you an idea of what they're all about. This is Saving the Past for the Future catalog and garden guide. So the garden guide is amazing. When I received this magazine, I read it like a kid waiting for Christmas. Like I read it cover to cover. I underlined. I try to absorb all the information. But here, let me give you like a little sample. So, like these are the greens. Look, so you want melons? What kind of melon? There's so many varieties, and they're so detailed and informative in the information that they give you. They tell you sometimes about like who grew them. And see, they'll have like something about cucumbers, watering notes, everything from how to grow it. You can see my little notes here. Row cover can be used to control, to control the cucumber beetle. If you were in this Virginia sort of southeastern type area, I couldn't recommend this highly enough. And we're going to test it. We're going to see how the seeds perform. As you can see, I had it equally as big almost as the first one. And then this is the order sheet here. So you can see you get a lot of seeds in a packet, and they're about $3.90, $3.65 a packet pretty typically. And we like saving seeds, so that's probably what I'll be doing this year. So one thing I learned from this catalog is how seeds can be hybridized, how they can mix. So say you're growing two things that are in the same family and they're right next to each other in the garden, they can share pollen. So if you were to save those seeds, they're not going to be the same seeds the next year. There'll be unpredictable genetics. Whereas if you keep them segregated, the different varieties, you're not going to have that problem. So I tried to keep that in mind when I was shopping for seeds. Even though it's tempting to grow 5 different types of carrots, I try to just pick one variety of carrots so I will have the best chances of seed saving. Now, I did make a few exceptions to that, like where tomatoes, there's just too many kinds of tomatoes to choose from. And if I need to buy another packet of seeds for $3.65 next year, I will. Okay, so what I did was start to categorize the herbs to give me a better idea of how to think about them. So I've got our corn here, sweet corn, popcorn. I've got the peas and beans. I put them into one category. These are all the herbs. So like culinary herbs, more getting into like the medicinal category back here. Put the dill with the culinaries, and then sort of flowering ones. All the flowers, I put like the vining things here. So 2 different types of melon, watermelon here, and a muskmelon, the gourds, the pickling cucumbers, the zucchini, the onions here. These are sort of my root crops, the beets, the carrots. I tried to pick storing varieties of these things, so that way if we have an over and abundance, it will keep. We've got the tomatoes here, Got the Virginia Select Roma tomatoes, the San Marzano. So I want some of the classics, and then a couple of these heirloom type tomatoes as well. And then of course I've got the peppers here. So now I'm going to play around with some sketches on how I can lay these out. And I'm sure that will be revised many times before the end, because these will be started mostly as seeds indoors. So I will have quite a while. I mean, one of our neighbors down the road just said they don't plant until June because we live in a holler. And even though like for zone 6/5B, our frost date is May 15th, that we could always have a freak freeze. So they say, just to be on the safe side, they don't put them until June. So I will be getting these started before April. And so that'll give them a couple months head start indoors. So stay tuned, because I'm going to show you our whole setup, that with the soil and the lights, and how we are starting seeds indoors this year off grid for our new garden. Ooh, this one here is watercress. I picked this out because in my experience, I have found watercress growing natively, and it usually likes wet feet, you know, kind of on the corners of creeks, creek beds and whatnot. And we have a lot of land like that on the side of the creeks that's, I don't want to call it waterlogged, but I would say the plant would have wet feet. So I wanted to try to seed this, not necessarily just in the garden, but in some of these areas of the land that's wet. So one of the things I really wanted to focus this year was on flowers, because just bring so much joy to the garden environment. So whereas of course we're going to have our practical vegetables, I wanted to bookend the rows with lots of color, and I tried to stick with a lot of varieties that were good for cutting flowers. That's something that Dave and I really enjoy. Dave especially, he's particularly good at making flower arrangements. But these ones here on the end, these are more in the herbal category, the purple echinacea, you know, famous for immune system help. This I grow every year that I possibly can. Calendula is just so good for putting in, you know, balms for burns and, you know, healing salves. Of course, we got dill because we're doing cucumbers and for pickling. But some of these varieties will be new to me. Some are old, like I'm familiar with the Cosmos. Now, of course, these are not necessarily accurate depictions what's on the packets, but let's just go down the list. This one I thought was so funny. The name really got me. It's called an outhouse hollyhock because it's traditionally been grown near outhouses, which we have one. So I thought that'd be pretty funny to grow there. Zinnias, we're familiar with growing those, but these are all new to me. This Cleome, bachelor button, the aster. Of course, now we've done sunflowers. This one's pretty cool. This is Coreopsis dyers mix. So this is, you could actually dye fabric with this flower here. So that's something I've actually been wanting to try for a long time, because I sew and I can do quilting. So there we go for the flowers. Oh, and by the way, if we have any seeds left over, what's not going to put in the garden, I think I will be spreading them out here. So this is the field where the septic was put in, and since they had to scrape the dirt and everything, I figure why not just plant some flowers. Maybe I'll sprinkle some like wildflower mix there as well, for fun. Another thing, so these are some vegetables seeds out here that I got. But if you might be thinking that, you know, why would I buy this many types of seeds? And because we're new to gardening in this zone. I mean, we were growing in California, Southern California, where it's pretty easy to grow. You don't really have to worry about frost. You can grow so much of a longer growing season. And we had it good there. And so this is completely unfamiliar terrain for us. So henceforth why I wanted to just try a small amount of a lot of things. That way we can see what we do well here in this environment, what won't do well. Like, I think I'm getting the peppers started a little bit late. I know they need a long time to mature, and so we'll see. And then once we know, like, oh, cucumbers did really well here, that is something that I would really focus on in the garden for next year, so that we can, you know, can it and pickle it and, you know, preserve it in all the ways that we can. So that's my logic here for getting so many types of things. Also, it's just exciting. I mean, you open that catalog, who can resist? Oh, super exciting. This is my, like, one thing that I want to be successful this year more than anything else is just this loofah gourd. So just like the loofah that you can like clean your body with that they can sell at a store, you can also use it for washing your dishes. Once you peel the skin off, there's this amazing kind of skin exfoliating like loofah for washing things with. So this I would like to train on an arched trellis. Watermelon. Gotta have your lettuce. We'll grow those in the shadier areas. There you have it. Stay tuned for more. See how we do this gardening season. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Let me have it. Let's go. Go, Matilda. Get it, baby girl. Make me look good. Oh, yeah. Let's go, Rafa. Ready? Go, Rafa. Oh, yeah. Homestead Overland, Virginia.